I just want to see how it works there in terms of like the scientific aspects, you know, down to the soils, up until like, you know, the insects, pest control, biocontrol.
I actually used a lot of Professor Sinan Kuntz's work that he had done in Cuba on urban agriculture, and I wrote a paper about Havana and how the Cuban urban agriculture there contrasted with what's going on in the United States now, which is a much more grassroots, small movement.
La agricultura urbana en Cuba no surge de manera espontánea. En los años 90, producto de una etapa de la economía cubana muy calamitosa, Cuba perdió sus fuentes de comercio de alimentos y se vio en la necesidad de producir alimentos de otra manera.
Este centro forma parte del movimiento de agricultura urbana en Cuba.
This center is part of the urban agriculture movement in Cuba,
que tiene más de medio millón de formas de escenarios productivos.
that have over 1 million productive fields or sceneries,
De pequeños patios, parcelas,
small
huertos
patios and parcels and gardens
dedicados al autoconsumo,
that are dedicated for self-consumption purposes,
hasta centros más grandes como el nuestro que dedica sus producciones a la comercialización.
including larger centers like our own that is intended for commercializing whatever we harvest.
We are at the very first civilian organiponico that was constructed in Havana. The year was 1991. The producer of this organiponico was a general of Chinese extraction, the name of Moises Xiao Wong, and said, I propose that we build an organiponico in that empty lot.
Tiene más de 35.000 hectáreas
We
vinculadas
have
a este
over
sistema.
35,000 hectares that are connected with this system.
Más de 400.000 cubanos trabajan en este sistema.
Over 400,000 Cubans are working in this type of system.
Realmente la agricultura urbana surge por la necesidad que hay de producir alimentos dentro de la ciudad, porque había escasez de combustible, escasez de transporte, y se trata con la agricultura urbana de acercar los productos a la población.
Y se produce más del 60% de los vegetales y las hortalizas frescas que consumen las poblaciones del país.
And over 60% of the fresh vegetables consumed by the people are produced here, all over the country.
Todas las apuestas seguirán en pie, se irán conmigo en mis maletas.
Y tiene por principio
And
la
as a
agricultura
principle,
urbana
I'm talking about urban agriculture,
ser totalmente orgánica.
requires to be totally organic.
No se emplea ni un solo gramo de productos químicos,
Not even 1 grain of chemical substances is used,
ni para la nutrición vegetal,
neither for nutrition of the plants,
ni para el
Nor-
control de plagas y enfermedades.
to control pests and diseases either.
Por ejemplo,
Here, for example,
ladybug.
the ladybug.
Tenemos acá 6
Here we have
especies
6 different species of ladybugs
que son muy importantes
that are quite important
porque se alimentan
because they feed
de varias plagas,
on several pests
áfidos,
that are aphidos, aphid.
además también algunas se alimentan
And besides
de
that, some of them also feed
algunos hongos.
on some fungus.
Aquí las reproducimos
Here we reproduce them all
y las vamos liberando en el campo.
and we release them and set them free outdoors in the field.
Todo este sistema
All this system
que incluye también la producción
including also the very production
de bioplaguicidas,
of pesticides.
que son productos naturales.
These are natural products.
O sea, hacemos fermentados de distintas plantas.
We make fermented liquids out of different plants.
Por ejemplo, el marigold,
For example, the marigold,
el neem
the neem,
y otros vegetales.
and a few other vegetables.
Todo eso integra lo que llamamos manejo agroecológico de plagas y enfermedades.
That is the comprehensive agroecological management of both pests and diseases.
Aquí lo hacemos a base del estiércol vacuno
Here what we use is the manure from the cows
para la producción
for the production of
del humus de lombriz.
humus of a worm.
Lo come la lombriz y pasa por su tracto digestivo.
Because when this manure is digested by the worm and goes through the intestinal tract,
Se le incorporan ácidos orgánicos,
organic acids are going to be incorporated to it,
auxinas
auxinas,
y otros
and a
componentes
few other
que
components
son muy importantes para el
that are
desarrollo de la
quite
planta.
important for the development of the plants.
Por eso el humus de lombriz es el abono orgánico por excelencia.
That is why the humus from worms is the best organic fertilizer ever.
Eso forma la biomasa
That make up the biomass
donde colocamos la semilla
in which we drop the seed
y donde se desarrolla la
and in
planta.
which the plant will be developed.
Un suelo con propiedades hidrofísicas excelentes, un pH muy bueno, un drenaje interno muy bueno, una conductividad eléctrica muy buena. Es un suelo muy productivo. Un poco baja en materia orgánica, pero para eso nosotros le ponemos materia orgánica para lograr el resultado.
Humus
This is humus
y el compost.
and the compost.
La mejor combinación es
The best combination ever
ponerle
is to place
la mezcla de humus.
the mixture of both of them.
Este es el resultado final de la producción de estos abonos
This
orgánicos.
is the finished product of the organic fertilizer production unit.
Te vi pasar anoche como luz, roda por la pedrada del ayer, dejando un rastro de agua y de clavel, sin agitar el aire. Te vi palidecer a contraluz, o me engañaron los ojos otra vez.
Tengo un patio de 15 a 20 hectáreas. Tengo sembrado naranja, plátano, mandarina,
Okay. He plants
calabaza,
oranges,
tomate,
banana,
limón,
lemon,
guayaba,
guayaba.
yuca.
¿Usa químicos?
No, natural todo.
Everything's natural, organic, no chemicals are used.
50% de lo que siembro es para la casa y el otro para la venta.
Podríamos decir que este tipo también de agricultura cambió los hábitos de consumo. O sea que las personas tenían más productos para utilizar en la cocina, ampliaron su cultura culinaria y de alguna manera lo culinario tiene un impacto muy grande en la vida diaria del hombre, porque el hombre come 3 veces al día. Y cuando tú mejoras tu situación culinaria, mejoras tu vida, tu calidad de vida.
A veces vienen amigos que les regalo la comida. O sea, los ayudo, una ensalada de lechuga, col, aguacate, que no lo mencioné ahorita.
He says that he has enough that sometimes he has friends that come and he just gives them from his heart, from what he has harvested.
La agricultura urbana ha constituido un beneficio muy grande para la comunidad. Se han creado hábitos alimentarios para la población muy grande que no lo teníamos antes.
Existen pequeños agricultores y grandes agricultores.
There exist small agriculturalists and big agriculturists.
Los pequeños agricultores son familias que se unen y cosechan para la familia. Y a veces venden algo.
The small ones are usually just families that produce vegetables for themselves and for the family to eat, and then the bigger ones, and sometimes they'll have enough to sell, but mainly it's just for the family's consumption.
Right now, our community project here, which is called Community Patio, is promoting all over the city a new version, a new modality, and we're talking about the green roofs. We try to promote permaculture. As a technique in order to reproduce this experience in small spaces within the city. We work with elementary schools, with the children who belong to interest clubs. At the level of the People's Council, which is the local government unit, we have a committee of local managers.
Producciones pequeñas de huevos de codorniz, de huevos de gallinas criollas, de cabra, de miel de abeja, de flores, o sea, productos que están en la comunidad, para la comunidad, de manera muy inmediata, no haya que moverse a grandes distancias.
Aquí en la luna de Valencia, durmiendo sobre un pie, volando más allá y esperando con toda la santa paciencia que lleguen los milagros como aves de ultramar.
All right, the question of what's going to happen if petroleum becomes more available in Cuba is an interesting one. And what will happen to this agroecological thrust? Of course, we cannot foretell the future, because I'm sure there are plenty of people in Cuba who would love to go back to industrial agriculture if they could.
Mira, el peligro para mí más duro está relacionado con la utilización de productos químicos, de productos transgénicos.
But you also have 20 years of urban agricultural history now, and lots of people becoming convinced of all the benefits of agroecological agriculture in the cities and strongly advocating for it. So Grupo Nacional de Agricultura Urbana, ACTAF, INIFAT, these kind of people are not going to go back to industrial agriculture if they can help it. So, and the actual evolution historically, we'll just have to wait and see. I think there's a very good chance that, as the proponents of urban agriculture in Cuba keep saying, urban agriculture has come to stay.
Y creo que es un trabajo de su generación, de las universidades actuales, de cambiar la mentalidad en función de los nuevos retos que tiene la humanidad.
The big new initiative in Cuba over the last 3 years is this new program called suburban agriculture. So for the first time, as far as I know, in Caribbean history, local governmental units are being asked to come up with the food self-sufficiency project. Urban agriculture, when it first came online, was really a survival issue, solving an immediate problem of producing some things for the urban population. Now we're talking about all of Cuba deciding to become self-sufficient in foods, and which is, since Cuba imports 70–80% of its food needs now, it's going to be a sea change in agricultural activity, obviously, if it can be carried out successfully.
So what I take away from learning about Cuban urban agriculture and traveling there to see it is that this program is so developed there, and I think that the United States and agriculturalists here really need to open themselves up to using all the really developed and well done research that Cuba has done to be able to use what they've done and apply it here.
So something I've taken away from learning about Cuban urban agriculture is that a major difference between the United States and Cuba is that there's a lot of support from the government in Cuba, and that's been really important in their success, as well as infrastructure that's not really existing in the United States right now. Another thing that we've talked about a lot is the fact that for Cuba, moving to urban agriculture was a necessity, and it's not really a necessity in the same sense in the United States right now in terms of food security. But what is a necessity is moving away from industrial agriculture. So I think in the future we're going to see, hopefully we'll see more development of urban agriculture in the United States.